came runner-up to Kate Stover for Mr. Ohio, and I had no idea that Miyan Williams was number 2. So
I didn't know that either.
In the same year or whatever, I thought that was pretty cool.
That's wild. That's Miyan Williams, another guy's super underrated. I said it last. TreVeyon Henderson gets all the hype, and I'm like, dude, he moves the pile, dude. He moves. You saw, dude. I mean, that was one of the best performances I've ever seen in person. And like everybody was. Some people said some negative things like, "Oh, well, it's Rutgers." No, it's not like that. You can see there's dudes. First, that Avery Young, number 2 for Rutgers, is going to be in the NFL. He's a big, stocky defensive back that's so good. They start him at safety and corner. That's an all Big Ten defensive back. And if you're all Big Ten, you're probably going to get drafted within the first 3 rounds. He could be in the NFL for a bit. And Miyan Williams juked him on like the 3rd play, and I was like, dude, this is not. It ain't like you're playing Youngstown State where you're going up against guys like me. No, dude, Rutgers. There's some talent on that defense, and he still just shoved him around. He's just good. He's very, very good, very underrated.
Yeah, so we did a podcast preview, and I always have to talk about it because it was like, who's going to be your like dark horse player on offense this year? And I said Miyan Williams, and both these co-hosts just dogged me. It was like, no way. They're like, he's not even going to get the ball this year, and I was like, dude, he's going to be the guy. You watch. And
did you think he was going to be the guy because he's good, or because are you a glass half full or glass half empty kind of guy? Like, well, he's going to get the ball because he's good, or because TreVeyon Henderson's going to get hurt? That's the difference.
No, so it was more the way that they were utilizing him early on last year, and he started the season kind of as like running back 1, and I was like,
yeah.
So I'm like, there's definitely the coaches definitely like him, but TreVeyon exploded on the scene, and he was just such a different change of pace, and it just fit the offense a little bit better. But I thought this year, he was going to be a guy that came on the scene, and I wasn't expecting him to be like 50-50 split with Henderson. But
the thing about the running back position, especially at Ohio State. So if Miyan Williams played at a place like Wisconsin or Illinois, did you be carving his name into the Heisman? But at Ohio State, they want their running backs to have a little bit. You gotta be. It's just like the NFL, right? They want their running backs. You cannot be an elite running back in the NFL if you can't catch the ball in the backfield. If you can't bust it and be explosive, and TreVeyon has that. TreVeyon adds an extra flair to his game. He can turn on a dime. He's got that next level like athleticism that you kind of want in your lead back. Miyan Williams doesn't. I don't want to say he doesn't have that, because we've seen some of that. It's just he's more like Kenneth Walker from Michigan State, right? Who had like 2 receptions. It was the entire offense, but they threw the ball to him like twice the whole year. Miyan Williams is a little bit like that. It's not that he can't do it, it's just that's not a specialty. But Miyan Williams is just a good back. I love TreVeyon Henderson, but that's a guy that when you watch his film, it's not like you see. When you watch, it's not like when you watch Bijan Robinson at Texas, where it's like, my God, who's going to stop that man, right? Or even Zach Charbonnet at UCLA, where it's like, dude, did he just stiff arm 7 people? TreVeyon Henderson doesn't really do that, right? You go, man, he almost had it. That was almost an 80-yard run. That's a lot of his runs, and that's great. That's okay, but that's all potential. Miyan Williams is there. He's, he's a lead back, dude. It's just, so I'm right there with you. I don't want to talk trash about TreVeyon Henderson, but Miyan Williams is a finished product. You know what he is. He's healthy. He's going to get his, and he's going to get some extra. So I'm with you. I'm Team Miyan.
Yeah, I think his just power running this year has been unreal.
But he's got the quick hips too, man.
Yeah.
He's got some wiggle too, bro.
Yeah, they were. I think there was like another stat drop where they were just like, it wasn't this week. It was last week against Wisconsin, where they're like, he's only had 1 rush in his career over 30 yards, like. And then he breaks that huge run against Rutgers. I was like, oh, there's the speed.
But that I don't know if that's like that was always a stat everybody talks about, is like breakaway plays. It's a very analytical stat, like breakthrough plays, big plays, stuff like that. And maybe that's my problem evaluating running backs. I was a big Master T guy too. Is that I don't value that. I would rather have, and I was more of a J.K. Dobbins guy than Trey Sermon, or when Trey Sermon was around, he was splitting carries. I was always for the other guy, right? I'm more of a guy like, I want my 4 yards. Give me the guy, give me the dog that's going to get 4 yards in a loaded box. That's my guy. So maybe that's my flaw, because of like you said, I wrote for Browns Wire. I would do the NFL draft pieces, and the guys that I would like a running back would never get taken in the first round. They just didn't because they weren't the full package. They didn't, they got their 4 yards, and that's what it was.
Do you see right now with Miyan Williams' performance, do you see the tide? I mean, obviously, it's probably still going to be about a 50-50 shift, but would you almost say that Miyan Williams is the running back one on this team right now?
He has to be, right? I mean, both statistically and per snap. I don't even think that that's me being biased. I think that's more of a statistical what it is. I think that you might see – I think that when the Buckeyes play Michigan, that might be a big breakout game for Travion because he, like I said, he does have that extra gear where if you can get him in space, boom, 80 yards, right? That's a dagger. That's a very momentum shifting game. Miyan doesn't really give you that. He's like a plussed up version of Hassan Haskins. So I could see a game like that where we talk about how good Travion is and maybe he should have got more snaps. But I mean, if you're trying to just pound people into the dirt like Michigan State, I mean, that's what they should do with Miyan is let Travion rest some more, just pound it with Miyan until Michigan State cries and then just go home because that's what you can do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.